I'm gonna talk about something just real quick. What do you feel like? What do you feel like that are thoughts that are getting in the way of you elevating, right? Like certain thoughts that come in your head, they be like, and it hinders your progression or that next step that you would like to take to try to be something better in life. I think we all deal with this, and I feel like it's important. I'm gonna be transparent, talk about mine. Fear of death, right? I haven't been struggling with that lately, but sometimes those thoughts pop up in my mind, and I suffer from that because of suffering the death of my mother. And a lot of people don't know, but I walked in and found my mother dead. I saw her dead on the floor in our apartment in her bedroom. So I just, to get a visual of it, to see it, it traumatized me for many years. So when my mom's been dead for 8 years, she has passed away in 2014. So that's been 8 years ago, right? So to this day of 8 years, and I've been getting it under control with prayer and meditation. Meditation has been helping me clear my mind, being still, being silent, being able to control the thoughts that come across my mind, right? And that comes with a fear of worrying less and having less anxiety. Sometimes anxiety comes out of the blue for me, but that fear of death came just from that situation. It always plagued my subconscious. And I was scared of losing other people around me. Family members, friends, partner, relationships. And that's just like not death of them dying, but just like fear of just losing relationships. Those translate into those as well. So that thought alone, hindered some of my motivation and elevation in life. But I'm getting through it to this day, still continuously getting through. And I must say that it's a journey still. Last night when I was sleeping, sometimes I get these anxiety nights where it's hard for me to go to sleep, or I'm like tossing and turning, and I'm imagining things psychologically in my mind, think I'm hearing things. Then it creates a level of fear, right? But then I have to go back to that notion. This is what I tell myself when I go through these things. There is no evidence. This is not real. This is not happening. There is no evidence of this. This is not real. This is not happening. So what I'm doing is I'm deprogramming my mind to not buy into the psychological game that's being played. And I'm like, oh, it's Satan. I don't know. It's something and I don't like it, right? So I tell myself, this is not real. There's no evidence of this. You don't have any proof. It's not real. I don't believe that. I canceled these thoughts, and once I start practicing that, then it's just like, oh, reality, like you're tripping, go to bed, right? So like just simple, small things like that, I think is important. And I don't want to be all Bible-y and preachy, but I read Psalms 39, before I go to sleep. Pray. I try to pray. I've been getting better at praying before I go to sleep. Before, it was just like, and I'm out of here, right? But I'm getting better at praying before I go to sleep. Another thought is it too late for me to be successful in life? Those are like thoughts that are getting in the way of my elevation. Is it too late for me to be successful? And the answer is no. It's never too late for you to be successful. Who put the time frame on anything? God puts a time frame on stuff. You know what I'm saying? God is like, when you go, that's when it's too late. You know what I mean? While you're living, do what you do. Be happy. Be, living your best truth. That's all I can say. At me being in my 30s and our understanding is like, you got to do things smarter. When you're younger, you have all the time. Well, you think you have all the time in the world to waste, but you don't. So you just have to be smarter in the way you do stuff. Entertainment has always been in my blood. I've always been a musician. I love music. But what's going on right now in music, it's not something the direction that I want to go towards. So I used to make music a main priority for me, and it's just really not a main priority as far as like me trying to be famous and blow up as a singer or a rapper or whatever. It's not. I don't really care about it as much as I used to. What I do care about is me being happy. What I do care about is me being my true, authentic self. And it's so important that if I'm going to put out music, that's just what I want to do at the time. And if you guys gravitate toward it, then that's great. And if not, then you just keep trying. You just keep doing it. But you do it out of love. You don't do it out of trying to be famous. Like, nah. I want to do great things in life. I want to be explorative. But in my explorative creative process, I'm trying to be transparent as well. So I think that's where I started talking and doing these videos of me talking. Yeah, so we're going to Reachability First Productions. Started shooting videos in 2020 during the pandemic. That's when I picked up the skill. I'm like 2 years in, still learning. So a lot of videographers, they got years and years and years and years on me. And it's like, cool. I love it. Congratulations. I want to learn from these people. But then sometimes, like when you put yourself in a position to like be transparent and say certain things, you know what I'm saying? It starts some type of, competition of some sort or whatever. And I don't ever want to be in a room where I'm trying to compete with nobody. Like, I do this because I like talking and I have a camera and I'm always going to be active in my creation process. So it's just naturally for me, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be creative, right? So, I feel like what the point I was getting at, I was talking my ass off for no reason. Point is, it's just, I'm just trying to do something great in life, and I want to keep learning. I want to keep being better. So I don't want to ever think that it's too late for me to be successful at anything, because only God can say that, and nobody is in God except for Jehovah. So I'm going to just keep doing music, and I'm going to keep doing my videos and shooting videos and trying to build my production company. And still keep a regular job because I'm not dumb. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to quit my 9 to 5. I'm just, I think everybody has like this fascination with entrepreneurship, and that's cool. But I like to kind of live in reality, you know what I mean, when it comes to money and, the resources and things that you need in order to survive in this country of America. Being an entrepreneur is great, but it's like, you got to pay a hell of taxes, on the LLC. You got to pay hella taxes on the S Corp, hella taxes on the corporation, bruh. And I know it's loopholes and ways around that shit, but it's like, I ain't really trying to get these niggas no more money than I got to give these niggas. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking my damn time. You damn right. You know what I mean? I'm taking my time. And when it's time for me to step out, and when I'm going to be making the same amount of money I would be making if I was working a regular job or more, then that's why I'll step away and say, all right, cool. But I'm not trying to limit myself to anything. So now back to our point. Thoughts of getting in the way of my elevation. It's hard for me to lose weight. Dude, when I tell you, like, losing weight and exercising is like one of the biggest vices that I have in my life right now. I can't even tell you how many times I failed at that shit. At this point, motherfucker, I'm a professional failure at losing weight. And it's not funny. It's really not. I went to the doctor's yesterday, got some blood work, and I'm like crossing my fingers. I'm like, bitch, do not say I got diabetes. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Sorry to use the word B and Jesus in the same sentence, but if anybody knows me, they know my humor. But I'm like a failure at losing weight. I'm a failure at eating healthy. I've been better in my life, and I've gotten better, but I'm still not the best that I could be. And I stepped on the scale the other day. I'm like, I didn't lose any weight. I didn't gain any weight. It's a win. But it's really not. So I don't know. At this point, I feel like, yo, I need a personal trainer like yelling at me, get your ass up and get in the gym. I need that or something. I don't know. I think the most successful I was is when I lived in Philly and I actually was boxing, and I did boxing and I thoroughly enjoyed boxing. And I think that's why it was so easy for me to lose weight during that time. I mean, plus my mom was alive too. So I was at a different mindset. After my mom died, a lot of things changed in my life, right? Excuse me, I hate belching, but it's natural human shit. A lot of things changed after my mom died. So I'm like, maybe my lack of motivation and working out is connected to that. Don't know. Didn't get too deep into it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't divulge too much into it. But I will say, I did lose weight in 2015 after my mom died. I got significantly small and I worked out. I lived in the gym like I was a gym rat, and almost had a six pack for the first time in my life. I was like, yo, dog, like, yo, you really about this life? And I think I worked out so much and lifted so many weights and went so hard that I burnt myself out. You know what I'm saying? I think I burnt myself out, and I was just like, bro, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I exhausted myself permanently from working out. Because even after that, when I tried to work out, it was not the same. I swear, it was like a struggle. Then I lost weight again in 2018. And I got smaller, and I was getting smaller. And 2019, I started gaining more weight. I met my partner, my girl. I met her in May of 2019. But prior to that, I was in a traumatic experiences with women. I didn't have like the best experiences, and so I don't know, maybe those things came and triggered it, and I'm just like, now I'm like, bitch, you just back, you in a point of no return now. Like, I'm the biggest I probably ever been in my life, no cap. This past year, March of 2022, I really started working out, and I had dropped like 40 pounds. Then I did T25, and I injured myself, and I said, yeah, I'm done. And I've been a fat nigga ever since. So I'm loyal to that, but I don't want to be. So, right now I'm just trying to figure out like what to do. And I know what to do, but it's like, yo, where do you find the motivation? So then it's like, you can't really base it on a motivation. You got to just be consistent in doing it. Last week I walked. Week before that I walked. I was working out for 3 weeks straight. Then I just stopped. So it goes to this start and stop thing. Then it's just like, dude, so those are things that's getting in the way of my elevation. Another thought is treating people with a lack of patience and understanding. Sometimes I get in these modes where I get like super impatient with people, and I'm trying to be better. Like, the thoughts of conversation with certain people just give me the dread vibe, and I'm just like, yo, nah. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like sinking in misery having conversation. And then sometimes it is my arrogance or ego that feels like people do certain things for attention. You know what I mean? But it's like, then if I say that, then I'm like judging people. I think it's like a fine line. So I don't know. I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? But what I do know is I have to be more understanding and have more patience and have more love with people. So I'm practicing that, especially at work, because at work I get irritated quickly. So you're like, when they knock on my window in my cab, in my train, like, I'm like, fuck. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So I like put myself in check, and I notice when I do that, it makes my day go by better, because I'm not creating this annoyance energy where because once I get into that annoyance mode, I'm like annoyed at everything at that point. So yeah, I'm still a work in progress. Don't ever think I come on here and like be preachy to like people and I'm like super perfect. Like, nah, never, bro, never. Like, when I tell you I struggle with crazy shit, I struggle with a lot of stuff, bro. Like, my patience with people is getting better, but it's not the greatest. And I would like for it to be better, And I often pray to God to allow me to operate through my heart, because if I don't, then I can admittedly say that I'll be treating people mean. And I don't want to be that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be an asshole to people. I just don't, because it's like people are silently hurting. And I don't want to be the person to trigger someone to do something to themselves. So in retrospect, when I pray now, I pray to God to fill my heart up with love and understanding and patience. But I do be blocking people, though. I ain't gonna cap. Y'all saw my video on YouTube. If you watch my video on YouTube, I'm quick to block. I'm quick to block some folks. I'm quick to block some people. And that's just me being who I am. You know what I mean? What my energy can take and what it can't take is just who I am as a person. Like, but then sometimes I'll be wondering who designs these thresholds. Are these thresholds created from the basis of the life experiences that I've experienced? Or is that a program that I've created in my mind to feel? Because at this point, my personality is who I am. I was reading this book. What was it? A couple years ago. I've been reading this book on and off. It's called Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav. And he talks about the personality in the book. And your personality is what your identity is attached to, and your spirit person is attached to that personality. So that personality becomes who you are. And, I don't know if it's like impossible to improve on your personality. I doubt it. I feel like we can always redesign ourselves in some type of way, right? But at what expense? Then now I'm operating in a facet where I'm not really being myself, right? So I do want to be true to who I am, but also I want to be kind and loving to people. But if my energy can't take so much of what people do, and I think social media makes it an overkill, you know what I'm saying? Because social media is this place where you got everybody doing everything in every which way in every direction, and it's a lot to see on your timeline. Reels are 15 to 30 seconds, so you're like looking like a maniac going through 15-30 seconds of people doing the most randomest shit ever. And then you wonder why you're like tired throughout your day, because it's like you've spent all this energy, being engulfed in people's fuckery on social media. That's what I like to call it, because all in all, it's like fuckery to me. So I don't know. It's just interesting. But yeah, thoughts of getting away in my elevation. What else? The world is ending. That sounds really psycho, doesn't it? Oh my God, the world is over. See, and that's where I gotta get in where I like this YouTube shit, like watching conspiracy theories and all that. I'm like, bro, you gotta chill. So I used to be really big into that. I chilled off of it because it'll make you psycho. It will. You'll think everything's fake and it's illusion, the earth's flat, whatever. So, Yeah, I had to recondition myself with that. The world's ending thought. I feel like that's getting in the way of my elevation, because then it's making an excuse. Well, fuck it, I ain't even gotta do this because the world gonna end anyway. Like, nah, dude, that's nuts. You know what I mean? That's crazy as hell. So those are like thoughts was getting in the way of my elevation. And I actually wrote a list. Impatience. I put fear of death, laziness, impatience, anxiety of others dying, not walking in love, treating people with lack of patience and understanding. It's too late for me to do music. It's too hard for me to lose weight. It's impossible for me to eat healthy. The world is ending. So I suggest that you, all in all, shortly make a list of things that are thoughts that are getting in the way of your elevation. And I think that might help you work through some kinks and stuff that you got going. I think I might want to add another one to the list. I want kids. So I want to add not having children. Right? And I always felt like, I always wanted children. I always wanted kids. But then, like, when I have these kids, not these kids, but my kids, am I going to be good enough to be a parent? Am I going to be good enough to be responsible to help mold and shape these children into being the greatest creatures on the planet? Because it's like, if they're my kids and they're coming from me, I'm like going to be super arrogant and super braggadocious about my kids. And I'm going to feel like they're the most phenomenal human beings on the earth. But what if they turn out to be pieces of shit? And I didn't feel like I wanted to be responsible for that. But in all, I have some type of responsibility because I'm the parent. But then I also learned that no matter how great you raise your kid, they make their own decisions when they become adults. They do shit that you did not teach them directly because they're influenced by other factors in their lives that make them become pieces of shit. And I'm not saying people's kids are pieces of shit. I'm just speaking in general. We don't have control over that, you know what I mean? And I think that was my fear of having kids. It's like, I'm scared like my kid's going to become a piece of shit. And I did all this work and all this priming and all this focus and energy and time and speeches and talks and prayer and meditation, and because everything I feel like that is within me. Like, yo, if I can get this like little human being and teach this little human how to do all of these great things like at a like really early age, and grow them up and like, oh, it's like a perfect little freaking human that I created, and this perfect little freaking human is gonna go out there and they're gonna be the greatest human ever, and oh my God, that's my kid, they're amazing, and then they turn out to be a piece of shit. Like, what? Who wants to fucking go through that? That's anxiety for me. I'm not a parent, but I want to have a kid, and then I'm like, shit, do I want to carry a kid and like look like this and like be a stud and be pregnant and like look fucking crazy? They be like, well, who the fuck was you fucking to get a baby? Like, nowadays you ain't gotta fuck to get a baby. You could just get some shit squirted up in you at the clinic and get a baby, right? I want to have a kid, I do, but then it's like, I deal with all these social constructs of shit. You know what I mean? And that shit bugs me out, bro. I ain't gonna cap. Like, you know what I mean? I want like one kid, maybe two. I think two would suffice. But then it's like, oh, then, get a surrogate. How much does a surrogate gonna cost? And how does that work? And then they carrying the kids for you. Then after that, well, what if the surrogate wants to keep the fucking kids? And dude, this is the shit that I be going through. But all in all, I want to have children. But then also another huge part in me is like, once I have this kid, I'm stuck with this kid for the rest of my life. Not their life, my life. I can never give it away. I can be like, I give up. I don't want to be a parent. Nah, like, no, baby, you stuck with this. You stuck with this now. You stuck with that. But it's got to be the greatest thing because I see kids and I love kids. I have tons of nieces and nephews. Tons and tons and tons. I love my nieces and nephews. I have tons of them. And I'm like, yo, like, I see my brothers and sisters and like they're, great parents and all that shit. And it's like my niece, she's, nieces, she's a great mom. Like, she's got 2. And I'm like, shit, how the fuck she have kids for me? She younger than me. Like, anywho, I just never had kids. And it's just like, yo, I don't know, man. I want to have kids, but it's a lot of responsibility that comes with that shit, bro. And then I'm like, when my kid graduates high school, what am I gonna be like, 50? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be old ass parent, bro. Like, I don't know. This is the shit I be thinking about, but I'm crazy. And yeah, it's a lot of things that go through my head. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Because I got a lot of crazy shit going on. But yeah, that's my main thing. Like the thoughts of that, these thoughts can keep you in. You become an enemy of yourself by creating these illusions and ideologies. And I think it's just so important for us to filter out these things and be transparent about these things so we can get through these things, these hurdles,